Phone Joke Vlog.
Species 3 from 2004, straight to video. I think this actually played on Sci-Fi channel when they were commissioning hard R movies that were edited down to premiere on the Sci-Fi channel. You know, I wonder, cable being what it is, you kind of had Paramount getting a lot of loose boobies and F-bombs into Yellowstone. If they could go about just, hey, you want to still have cable, you want to still have Sci-Fi channel, we'll give you the unedited version, sure. I wonder. At any rate, marked decline in production value. This is very much on the cheap. You got a rudimentary star-filled made in Final Cut Pro effect. We're not even exporting this out to After Effects. This looks pretty bad, title sequence. Your gal here, introducing Sunny Mabry, am I saying that wrong? You're on the cover of the new guy. You're not being introduced here. You want to be introduced because you want that Natasha Henstridge type introduction. Natasha Henstridge returns. We're kind of picking up where we left off. Yeah, things look like it's shot on HD video because it is, all of a sudden. And you will notice that looks cheap and fuzzy. The motion doesn't look good. We're in the back of that van. Now, one of the guys that was driving it knew the whole situation, essentially abducting Eve, only she dies, gives birth to Sunny Mabry's character, who has one of the few cuter lines in all the franchise. He's like a preteen. He takes her in, tries to raise her, and he's like, hey, you gotta be careful or don't eat my cats, all this. She's like, I want Red Lobster. And then like gives the slogan for Red Lobster, which I forgot, unfortunately, but don't really like seafood, I'm sorry. Anyways, that was like probably the funniest part of 4 movies. We waited to have a direct-to-video third film before we did anything funny. That's why nobody talked about Species. So, did my voice crack enough right there? As things progress, she develops into Sunny Mabry, fully naked, implants in view. They're obvious. I don't know how we casted for this. She doesn't turn in a great performance. You could have got anybody, but this is what you went with. The movie looks cheap as hell. It's interesting though that nobody's really chasing them, because chasing is expensive. To have helicopters flying around for several scenes, too expensive to do. Kind of lucky enough they got helicopter action at the beginning of the movie. Now you basically have just one government guy kind of following them, looking for them haphazardly as they kind of introduce this into a college town. She heads out, actually murders a guy at the house, goes looking around, is really picky. Because the movie kind of gets the nomenclature wrong here. They say that there's half-breeds out there, but that doesn't make any sense. Because essentially everybody should have got killed off by Michael T. Williams and the spray, taking out all the pods. There shouldn't have been anybody that escaped. But in reality, Sarah, as they call her, is a hybrid. She's a half-breed. She shouldn't be full, even though the parents, Patrick and Eve, were not full alien to begin with. They were half human too. Eve points this out several times. You know, treat me like a human. I'm a human also, right? But nobody does. It's kind of like Barack Obama. I'm actually black, right? Like Barack Obama looks at the black and white cookie and says that's a black cookie. Well, Sunny Mabry is not too dangerous, I'm sorry, Sarah, because she's really picky. She doesn't go around killing a whole ton of people unless you kind of tease them first. But she's being attacked by other half-breeds that are trying to search her out. They're not even half, they're really honestly quarter. But she's not interested in them because they're weak, they're dying. Which makes you think none of this posed that much of a threat to humanity to begin with. If all these creatures can die off in a matter of a couple weeks or a month, they can't live very long. Everything floating around in our immune system takes them out. I mean, look at everybody with diabetes is a problem for these creatures. And that really nulls the effect or any kind of sense of menace in the original theatrically released movies, doesn't it? Admit it. Well, we have a ultra hottie that is looking for people that can solve some equation or biosamples, whatever. And she comes to the dorm. First bangs a guy to death. This is Amelia Cook. Look, Natasha Henstridge was about the hottest chick you could get to play Syl in 1995 because Amelia Cook wasn't legal yet. I don't think. Well, she might have been. But sweet Jesus. It's kind of a shame that she's there as sort of supplementary bad girl. One of the quarter breeds trying to sort out how to live longer. A little bit of that Blade Runner plot, right? Return to dad, try to see what we can sort out. Nobody really has good answers. There's a guy, actor I don't remember the name of. He's a college student. He's sort of the main guy in here. Almost a bit of a love role for him and Sarah. Doesn't turn in a bad performance, given the material. But he's really suspicious of Amelia Cook, even though she shows up at the dorm naked, looking amazing. And, captures his buddy, the one kind of government car that they could get to chase them. They're trying to develop something to extend the life. Things don't go well. Sarah's conflicted. What side does she take? They end up going to this power plant, which, by the way, if you're an expert in bioengineering, biology, this does not apply to chemistry and industrial design. So I don't see how we have characters that are floating between these two specialities. They go to the power plant. There's decent chasing. We made the shrewd decision to not do a ton of CGI, to have the aliens portrayed by people in suits. The costume's not as good as it used to be, but we get the idea. And as dark and awful as the movie shot, it's really good enough. Well, Amelia Cook's character now turns on them, is trying to take them out. She gets thrown to the bottom of this reactor. May or may not have pulled Sarah down with her. We discover weeks later, Sarah, doing fine, was given a spouse, a life mate she's forced to deal with. Oh, but they're infertile. But hey, they deserve not to be alone. So our main guy kind of builds somebody for her and they go on their way. Not really posing as much of a threat to people. Hopefully just eating cats and Red Lobster. But you have kind of a high count of people living in this movie. Not that high of a body count. You're trying to turn it into almost a college frat demo type film in ways that maybe it didn't need to be. But if you're going straight to video, that's really your only market. This is not as bad of a movie as I honestly expected, especially for something you understand is premiering on Sci-fi. I give Species 3 1.5 out of 4 stars. Oh, but Vaughn, that's terrible rate. It could have been 1 star.
Thank you for watching my son's YouTube station. It's not for everyone, but he tries. Maybe if you bought some merch below, he'll eventually get good at the YouTubing.